Yep.
So I'd said in the week since we got together last, the, the work that you did, which included some of the abundance giving back,
Yeah, the debt into
the
abundance.
debt into abundance, that got some things rolling and helped show me how I've made some progress and change over the years, looking at what I've given away to people,
Mm.
what I've neglected receiving when I had opportunities because I didn't feel worthy
Or
of
just
it.
honoring it on a mental and emotional
And
level.
honoring it on, yes, all of that.
Because we all have the choice to give that and then feel philanthropic or feel,
Taken advantage
yeah.
of. Or foolish in some way, yeah.
Yeah.
So it helped me see how that journey's gone for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it
Cool.
helped some things just propel forward. The other thing that we focused on, which we brought up in the spur of the moment, what did you call that?
Philanthropic?
No.
Debt into abundance?
No, it was the whole part. Is the second part of the session.
The scripting part?
It was something that you said you had never done before.
Oh, yeah. I had never gone that in depth of helping someone create a timeline of their life and then seeing the emotional transitions
Right.
and the things that supported you and what held you back.
I thought that was very useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to name that. We haven't.
It was a topic I knew really well because it was.
Yeah, it was you.
That's what I could talk about it, and
It just seemed like
you
it was a good
got
way to.
certain hits and pointed certain things out to me.
Yeah, and you had a couple ahas during that.
I did,
And probably
that
later
helped.
on after
I
that.
did, yeah. After that, one of the things that was sluggishly moving or moving sporadically, if at all, was aspects of my own money monster, personal strength, and the whole mask of the conditioned self ego that can stand right in front of you and make you really have to squint hard to chart progress or see things in a way that are helpful, especially yourself, myself. And it, I feel it paved the way for me to have some very nice growth points the last 24 hours especially.
Really?
Opportunities came up that
You recognized more comfortably, or
I got more out of the things that were already built into my life by choice. I
nice?
got more out of them just because I had something else got moving, and when more energy was applied to it, it moved faster and actually changed shape and transcended and became less of a block and more of a acknowledgement.
Wow. Can you reveal kind of what you noticed where you had an opportunity to be an old pattern and a new pattern?
Yeah. One of the places was in the Mankind Project New Warrior I group that I'm a part of every other Tuesday night in Doylestown. I can't talk about what we do there
Yes.
because that's a sacred container.
Yeah, of course.
But suffice to say,
That's rule number one and
yes,
two, right?
Yes, and three. I was able to be more present with my own emotions, with, with my work, and the work of other men that I witnessed and supported. So it was a level that I just felt a much deeper moving come with the work last night. And the other thing was...
So you felt more present or connected?
all of that.
Awesome.
More moved. Just more fully alive with the experience.
Well, did it really tie into your sort of underlying
Very much.
pattern of community and
Very much.
connection?
Very much. Yeah.
Cool.
Very much. It's a great group. The other instance was the WBF this morning.
Ah, I totally slept through that.
Yeah, I did want to go until I got back last night, and I'd gone through some shifts. I was finally excited. I got back late, and I got up early, and I'm very glad I went. I had some.
Were you the token male in Women's Business Forum?
Yeah, I was. The other male there was the IT guy who I guess is just always there for forget his name, but
Interesting.
yeah, I found myself again more presently involved, despite the always active fear about being in a group of people and talking and how am I going to come across, am I going to do it well, all the crap that you bring yourself that no one else is bringing to the table.
Right.
Is still
Am I going to
something get
articulate without stumbling over
past. Right.
my thoughts?
Am I going to say it well enough? Am I going to feel good about it? So
Because you get
all
30
those
seconds to
things.
stand up and communicate the essence of what you do.
And I really enjoyed it, and I felt well received.
Mm-hmm.
And beyond that, I took multiple opportunities to stand up, add comments, and share things. And one of the things I did last upon leaving, when everyone's any business announcements or this or that, I got up. I noted that quite a few ladies mentioned that they're having events. So I stood up and said, another aspect of my life I'd like to share with you is that I do music for events. I've done this, and this, and I provide cello, guitar, If you're interested, catch me before I leave. Thank you. And it felt so natural. So there's a greater naturalness, I think, to kind of sum everything up into one shell would be, I'm experiencing a feeling of greater naturalness with myself.
That's
my
very
life
cool.
experience. So it's something I'm grateful for, excited by, and there are other details as well. Business connections, doing activities to actively build our business and make new connections that I would have been more scared of than to do than not to do. Now I'm more scared not to do them.
Oh, awesome.
But also, I'm less afraid of doing them. I value the experience more for the value of having the experience, regardless of expectations or results.
Nice.
So I'm playing. I'm more playful.
That's awesome. Did you get the opportunity to read your scripts or different?
I did not. Not.
Okay, so you just sort of integrated it already.
I did. I touched base with it in my head.
So you didn't have to read it. You tuned in. You had sort of anchored it into your body already.
Yes, a lot of that.
That's awesome.
Has become very natural for me to do that. So I haven't felt lost from the material. The impact of it stuck, and in 3 or 6 months' time, I'm interested in going back and looking at it and seeing if new things.
I'm sure they will.
Reveal themselves. I'm sure they will too. So
that's awesome.
It's something I found.
And you kind of have like a bigger sort of magnet than maybe what you had a couple days before we did the session.
Sure.
Like it's more
in terms of
defined and articulated. Like even the letter you wrote to a future business partner.
Right.
I think that contained a lot of the emotional integrity and focus that you wanted.
Sure. Agreed. As well as some pleasant just for me details.
Nice.
Which made the touch personal.
So if somebody is considering going through this rather emotional, mental, physical
I would say
journey,
it's entirely worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's approachable from any level you're at, whether it's your first time looking and doing a self-assessment. I can recall when I was a younger man, 20, 21, and I was encouraged by some wiser, older friends of mine to do self-assessments, and it didn't make sense to me. I was like, why? And there's nothing wrong. And there was, of course.
Well, there was something that didn't help support you.
Right, and I was just becoming aware of how active those things are in life. So as I was taking the veil off my eyes more seriously, I was at first threatened by doing a self-assessment, and I was realizing the fear about something was in a very direct way an important gift of a sign to say that's a very, very important thing to start with then if you're scared of it. So I say that as encouragement to any like myself who have a lot of good things to offer, but there's a lot of fear about looking at anything.
And what topic do you know better than yourself? So it's
Indeed.
You get to pet a cat for a couple hours and explore the best parts of yourselves.
That's right, and rewards are
Cat
are
sold.
only a blessing.
Cat comes optional.
The cat's optional. I would say every time I look at these aspects of my life and these processes, there's a risk. There's a fear to
Vulnerability.
address, a vulnerability to go through, and that never goes away. It doesn't get stronger.
That's cool.
It doesn't get stronger. I don't know if it gets weaker, but everything else gets more powerful. So the balance, relatively, the fear, it has less of a hold on you when you realize how much gold there is
Yeah.
to be gained right within yourself. Not to go out and
Try to
work
find
really
it somewhere
hard to
else.
go do. The treasure's right here, and as we
And the
face
value
our
that
fears-
you've already put out tremendously in the world,
right.
there's a way to access it days, weeks, months, even years after you share it.
Agreed.
And it's by unlocking the pain associated with whatever you put out and it wasn't received in the way that you wanted to receive.
yes, yes.
Which is a pretty big aha.
It's big. It doesn't make sense at first. You think, how can that be? A lot of these things don't make sense at first. But
Yeah.
when you live it for a while, it becomes a factor of trust. And trust, like anything else, is practiced to maintain.
We didn't add up all your
No, we didn't.
debts.
No,
We dove right into kind of the pattern work. But what do you think your estimate of things that you begrudgingly gave over the years and didn't fully feel authentic or supported would be?
I had initially said around 500,000. I would say probably closer to 1.5 million.
Okay, so you have that stored in your abundance storehouse.
Yeah.
And the more you do this forgiveness work and, tie it back to the world, the gifts that you've already put out in the world,
Mhm.
the more you'll notice those synchronicities and miracles and say, this is for me.
Yeah, and it's fun. The mind likes to guess at what's going to happen. Is that it? Is that one of it? We don't always know.
Right.
And the factor of trust, and you don't really need to know, but it is a fun thing to play with.
One of the things that I realized early on doing the circle map with people is that conversations and opportunities and things would come in that would match what people wrote on their little stories or their little blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
And they go, oh, this is it, the ultimate thing, the ultimate relationship, the ultimate job. And they go and they try to fix that relationship to match.
Be their expectation.
But the disclaimer is that you're noticing that you are a powerful manifester and that you're a powerful filter for distractions that aren't what you want. And you can keep on continuing to tweak your scripts and your circle maps and blueprints for what you want. And you don't have to be, locked into, well, this was my goal or dream a month ago.
Right.
Since I started working with Ruth, so I have to stay on this track.
Right. Right. Life remains flexible first and foremost.
And I guess another question that came to mind was, why do you think this is moves so much stuff quicker than talk therapy that sometimes takes years
Good
to
question.
process?
Good question. Good question. Having done talk therapy back in college, I went through an identity crisis from the runner, sportsman I was for years, to going through a sports injury and not being able to do that, as well as a very, for me, traumatic, long distance and long term relationship breakdown.
That was your
At the
identity,
same
and both
time.
kind of dissolved around the same time.
Completely. It was a beautiful ripping of the Band-Aid for me. It was utterly terrible. And I did seek talk therapy. And I wasn't entirely open to it, first and foremost. That is a huge
Right.
factor. So part of it is now in my life I'm open to these things,
Yeah.
so I can receive from them. More recently, I did talk therapy a few years ago after the breakup of my marriage, and just to kind of put pieces together, make understandings, and get things out.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in a lot of pain for years,
Mm-hmm.
and I got more from that because I was open to receiving
Open.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were participating.
I was actively participating. I was reading.
Yeah.
I believed in myself in a different way, and I had different goals. In
I've
fact, I had goals. The first time I didn't have
Yeah.
goals. I just wanted it to go away.
yeah.
The second time, I wanted to deal with it. Now, with the energy work, there is a level of talk capacity that has been gained, and there's a realization that not everything is born in the mind and comes of the mind. There are other aspects to that. Physiologically, of course, the mind houses the hippocampus, the limbic system. That's where our emotions and our physiological responses to our thoughts come
And very
from.
primitive too.
And very primitive. The reptilian brain is a reaction brain, a very controlling brain, and a very clever brain. So in our minds, we house components of ourselves that are also intangible. And talk therapy, modes of thought don't cover every basis. So energy work, while being a mode of thought, is also a mode of activity. So it's a different therapy that offers different rewards.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't necessarily say one is better than the other.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the best therapy is the one that you're open to receiving.
Yeah, that's always the case.
But in support of energy work and these types of holistic therapies as successful, viable, and competent means of addressing issues and achieving greater health in one's life, they are quite powerful and very virile. They have life to them. And that is not falseness, it is not a delusion, and it is grounded in great wisdom, much older and much more human than the current talk therapy in the last 200 years as a profession. So there's much to be found and rediscovered by bringing these worlds together and getting people receiving both, talking, understanding as best as we can both, and let that dialogue grow and continue openly, and not to be closed off based on one's perceptions of things, which I think is ultimately the goal of both types of work. So I believe that's what I have to say about that.
Thank you for being so open and giving a recap of what you've experienced in the last week and what tools really helped.
You're welcome. Thank you for bringing those tools to my life so
You're welcome.
I can experience them.